Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the World Championship Series America. It's time for the winner's match to decide who the first player advancing from Group C to the round of 16 will be. We've got a Terran versus Zerg. This is a match I'm hyped. This is a match I've been really excited for. It's Polt versus Jaedong. A crazy, awesome series to round out the group and get our first round of 16 participant.
Yep. Just double checking to make sure both players are ready, but like Nate said, he's really excited. Even in the break, he was really excited, and we hope that you guys are excited as well. Hashtag IEM. I do it again. This is like the fourth time today. It's too much StarCraft for me lately, Nate. Hashtag WCS. Let us know who you're cheering for. Let us know who you hope is going to make it out of the group, and above all, let us know how you're watching, how you're listening. A lot of people are apparently listening to us on the drive to work, Nate.
We got to make sure we get all the details in, man.
Which I think is very comforting. It's like we're radio commentators now.
So you're just going to enjoy your ride down the 10 while we've got Pro moving down on the left side.
And make sure to keep your eyes on traffic, of course, at all time. Don't actually watch StarCraft and drive at the same time. Unless you're a passenger, then it's okay to bust out your iPad.
That's like all I do.
Then you're like Nate.
StarCraft.
Nate is the worst passenger of all time. Doesn't actually talk.
I just sit there and watch StarCraft.
Either way, we are incredibly pumped for this match. It's a rematch of the Lone Star Clash finals. And of course, it's a rematch of WCS America 2013 Season 2 Grand Final as well. Over here on the left bottom side of the map, we have the guy who won their last best of 7 encounter. It is EG's Jaedong.
Yep, Jaedong. He's a good player. I honestly actually was surprised because I've seen so few of his games this year, but his WCS points were actually crazy high considering how poorly he's done in WCS America. His opponent in the top right, currently, I believe, number 6 worldwide in WCS rankings. Representing Cooler Master Storm, he is Polt.
Now, I feel, Nate, if Polt would lose this match, I'm still pretty confident in Polt's ability to defeat Oz. I think, in general, Polt is always okay in TVP, and I especially think in the current meta and the current patch, I think he should be able to do fine. I would be a little bit more worried about Jaedong, because even though Jaedong won that last series, I felt the game on Nimbus was really a game that Oz didn't have to lose. And, you know, on Overgrowth, Oz looked very convincing against Jaedong.
Have we really seen Polt play a lot of Terran vs. Zerg since the patch, though?
Terran vs. Zerg or Protoss?
Zerg.
Not that much.
Because Polt was actually doing like 3 factory, crazy heavy Widowmine plays prior to the patch.
He had like 18 to 22 Widowmines in his games.
I want to know how 18, 20 Widowmines are going to play when they have that full splash radius back.
Yeah, and I want to see how Jaedong is going to somehow be able to deal with that. Either way, I'd be very worried for Jaedong and all the Jaedong fans out there if Jaedong is going to have to go up against Oz in the final series of the day. I think for Polt fans, you don't have to worry immediately yet. But I think Oz looked good and Oz looked strong, and often when a Protoss player plays more against the Zerg, they start to figure the Zerg out a little bit more as well, and maybe even play a little more adventurous.
That's a really good point, though. Like I agree with you so much, and like I feel like I need to reiterate that. Polt, I would pick him to just demolish Oz, but Jaedong, I don't actually know.
And I mean, like that Game 3 build by Jaedong against Oz was of course phenomenal on merry-go-round. Everything about it was super duper awesome. But you're not gonna surprise him like that twice.
No. Not gonna, I like that. It's like, oh, you're not gonna fool me twice on that one.
Either way, this is going to be a great best of 3 regardless, and we know that Jaedong really, really wants to win, and not because he's worried about Oz, but just because he really wants to defeat Polt. I don't think that these two have a grudge with each other, but I do think that Jaedong really enjoys beating Polt. Because of course, you know, anyone who beats Jaedong 4-0 in the final of a Premier League tournament is pretty much on his anti-list for the rest of your life.
Yeah. This is a big match right here for both of these players, as they'd like to just get right on out of their group. But the Reaper for Polt,
there's personal pride on the line as well.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, exactly. This also fits in the lines of a grudge match, I would say, beyond just WCS rankings, WCS points, and of course WCS results.
It was like a long time ago in 2013. I remember Jaedong was watching a game of Polt and he was describing his playstyle. And back then was Polt, every single TvZ he literally opened the exact same way, like up to the 9-minute mark, like everything was the same. And I remember like Jaedong was like grumbling a little bit about it backstage. He's like, "Ooh, Polt, every game, every same build. So stupid." And he really wasn't too happy with it. And then of course, you know, that was just a month or something after Polt was able to defeat Jaedong. So I think it means a lot for both of these guys. And of course, Polt wants his revenge for that Lone Star Clash 3 loss that he had a couple of months ago. That was a very difficult map pool to play on though as well for Terran. Ooh, Reaper. Almost died. But yeah, he had to play on Alt Azim, and I also think he had to play on Way Station and stuff like that. So it wasn't easy for him back then.
No, you're right. There were some pretty big maps. Not necessarily great for Terran against Zerg players. I think a lot of Terran's happy Way Station is out of the way.
Yeah, he got the bad spawns as well.
Jaedong throws up a Roach Warren.
That's an early one.
Yeah, this is pretty early. And what Polt has done is also a little bit interesting. It's not a fast 3 command center build. He's going to go right up to Cloak Banshee, which you could say naturally gives a counter to Roaches, but it all depends how many Roaches. And these Zerglings already want to slow Polt down. Does save this building supply depot, though. Very important. Getting supply blocked at a time like this could be really awkward. And he actually, his Reaper's like, nice try at that third base. Not fooling me.
And at the same time, Polt also doing a good job in denying that drone from going down. But there is speed, so this means that this is probably the end of the Reaper, and the Reaper was not able to pick up that drone. So still job well done by Jaedong. Unless the Hellions will be able to save this Reaper, it's gonna be close. Saving Private Reaper.
Whoa! Okay, I wouldn't have picked. I would not have picked that Reaper to be safe.
8 roaches, Nate. I feel 8 roaches is a few more than I normally see, but that might just be me.
Well, you know, you sell the third base to your opponent, and suddenly they're looking to buy more all of a sudden, and he doesn't know that there's a Roach Warren. So he's like, yeah, he's like, yeah, actually, you could just attack that third hatchery all you want. I'm going to get these Roaches ready.
He's going
to actually try to catch the Hellions. Well,
hey, it's going back to droning behind this.
I don't know how I feel about this. You don't
like
just
roaches.
build 8 Roaches.
Yeah, 8 roaches is a few more.
Yeah, this makes me a little bit uncomfortable. Like, Jaedong got the Roaches. Was he expecting a Hellbat Marauder play like Polt's occasionally done? Like, if you try to study Polt and prepare for one of his weird builds, I feel like that doesn't do much for you because he doesn't always do them anyway.
No, it's really funny how Polt in 2013 used to be same build every single game against Zerg, and in this day and age it's like the complete opposite. He's actually had so many openings. We've casted so many games of Polt lately. Meanwhile, these Banshees just going to town, already picked up 3 drone kills, and above all, he picked up a Queen as well.
They're just going to run into the natural. He built 2 extra Hellions, and Jaedong really doesn't. I really don't get the feeling that he saw any of this coming. These Hellions shouldn't be able to kill too much more, but that Banshees, the Banshees have just been going ham this whole time.
It's a complete distraction maneuver as well. Now we still have 2 cloaked Banshees doing some work. These Hellions did quite a bit of work as well. 9 drones have gone down. Actually, 8 additional drones have gone down. And these 2 Banshees can work on this Queen. Is this the only Queen that's here, Nate? The Spore is out of position.
He's going to kill this third base.
Yeah, Polt is actually picking Jaedong apart in the early stages of this game.
Really nice play by Polt, and his third command center is finishing up soon too, so suddenly we could have a 2-base Zerg up against a 3-base Terran, and he already lost 11 drones this game, so things are just not looking good at all. His Banshees are still here. They still need to actually be dealt with before he can retake a third base.
Lost 3 against the Banshee early on, then lost 8 more against these Hellions. Lost a lot of Zerglings as well. It wasn't just drones that went down, a lot of Zerglings went down. And above all, now Jaedong is stuck with these Roaches. It's too late to do something with them. And above all, you still have these 2 Banshees to worry about. Excellent control on the Banshees so far by Polt. There's 11 kills in these 2 guys. And of course, and above all, picked off the hatchery.
Yeah, he could even scan and start killing creep. Yeah, that's exactly what he's going to do. He even like micros the Banshee because he knows that you only need 3 volleys. So it's like only letting 1 Banshee fire at a time.
3 perfect plays so far from Polt, and Jaedong definitely on the ropes. He's going to try to somehow re-establish an economy that he can work with. As
these
mutas
are just so late that these Banshees have been wreaking havoc. This is a gross amount of damage for Banshees to have done with the Hellion support this early in the game. The only thing that's nice for Jaedong is his Overlord blocking the third base.
When that's the best thing for yourself going in the game, then obviously you're not in a very good position. But hey, a couple of Banelings can turn everything around eventually, but we do need a Baneling nest if we want to ever see Banelings. That's something we don't have yet.
Mutas are nice, but it's not like Polt's going back. It's not like these Mutalisks are going to be the comeback units here because there's a lot of Marines.
I'm actually a little bit worried about this Baneling nest timing, Nate.
He's got an armory finishing up too, so he can start his 2-2 upgrades soon. I was going to say, if he kept those Hellions alive, then I'd be really worried.
Hey, this first bio attack from Polt is going to be hard to deal with.
This could actually just straight up win the game with the Banshee support, actually. Like, this many Marines, the Mutas aren't going to cut it. I think Jaedong actually really hopes that the Widow Mines kill all the Marines. It's like his best chance at actually stopping this push.
Both Banshees are still alive as well, and other than the Hellions, really not too much has died for Polt. Here we go, Stim Bio knocking on his front door. Baneling Nest is still not ready. I'm not sure how Jaedong is supposed to engage his army, and I'm not sure how he's supposed to keep this hatchery alive. I don't think it's gonna happen, Nate.
Polt's just playing on a whole other level this map. He's getting everything that he wants, everything he needs. The Mutalisk is going to kill a Banshee, but that Banshee is already more than served its purpose in this game. Polt's just going to pack up. He's like, okay, I'm going to step back. Do you have anything else for me to even kill?
Yeah.
Not really.
Come on, man. Why didn't you even try?
It's like you realize there's no units over here, Jaedong, right? It's like, did you leave them somewhere else? It's
Oh,
like, no.
not enough Mutalisk, so he's actually going to end up losing one.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
It takes a lot of splash damage on the other one. Polt's going to move forward. He can throw down a scan, pick up the only few tumors.
He can dance all day.
He's doing it, Nate. 2 more factories as well.
Yeah, we're going to see a crazy amount of Widow Mines.
I don't think we're going to see it this game, but maybe in the next one.
Maybe this game won't go long enough to be a crazy amount of Widow Mines. These Banelings connect, though, potentially.
Widow Mine.
Polt, ooh, taking his sweet time before he actually microed there. But all the Banelings are gone, and suddenly you just have a bunch of Marines that you can pretty much ache like behind your opponents.
There is barely any money to work with for Jaedong. There are no more Banelings left. He's making a lot of Zerglings now, but I'm afraid it's all just a little too late. There's so many Marines knocking on his front door. A 3-base Terran against a 2-base Zerg. Nate, that's not a position you ever want to find yourself in. GT is called. Polt just outplayed Jaedong here in game number 1. Nothing really went Jaedong's way.
Nope. Absolutely nothing going Jaedong's way that game. From the very beginning, those Banshees just getting a little bit of damage done. Then the Hellions running in, and during that, the Banshees getting a lot of damage done. Like, everything for Polt, he just lined it up so well. And with the way that Jaedong picked his build order, like, you open with 8 Roaches, but unless you're going to build a crazy amount of Roaches, or you're going to go for something with lair tech based off that are a 1-1 timing, those Roaches aren't going to do anything for you against a player like Polt. You'd think that they would, considering that he ran Hellions in his base, but...
Yeah, even that still did damage. Like, normally the only thing you could expect from 8 defensive Roaches is that they do their defensive task and keep Hellions at bay, pick them off, and not really lose anything. But those Hellions actually did a surprising amount of work. Not only killing 8 drones, but above all, killing a lot of Zerglings as well. Overall, just a very good game by Polt. Just did everything right from start to finish. Map number 2 is going to be played on merry-go-round. And I'm pretty sure we're going to see a better Jaedong in this game, because of course we all know that Jaedong, you know, one of the biggest legends that we have, has played some of the most memorable games in StarCraft 2, just like Polt, of course. And we know that he can do better, and I think he will do better on merry-go-round.
Yeah, this is still a difficult map, I think, when you look at some of the build order potential here, because this is a lot of open space towards the center. There's some potential with a small size for early pushes. This could work out in Jaedong's favor, however, if he wants to get aggressive. I don't know if Jaedong is a 1-1 Roacher. I haven't seen him do it.
Well, pretty much every single Zerg these days that I don't think is a 1-1 Roacher turns out to be one. It's like everyone, you know, if you look in the mirror, it's like, you're not that guy, and then like your mirror image speaks to you. You are that guy.
It's like I'm not a Roacher. You look in the mirror, it's like your face is just a roach. So it's like, oh god, it's happened. It's like,
you see 1-1 upgrades on either shoulder, you're like, I guess I gave in. It's too late.
It's too late now.
They told me you can try it once and not be addicted.
You just start walking around, green acid starts spilling out of your mouth. It's like, man.
No, that would be bad. Don't
Your life has changed forever.
Either way, we are loaded into game number 2. It is going to be played on merry-go-round, as Polt is going to be the guy who's currently up 1-0, and is, of course, the Red Terran player, spawning at the 2 o'clock position of this map. CM Storm's Polt, representing the CSN agency, currently living in Atlanta, Georgia. We didn't even really see what he wants to go for, Nate, and that is that crazy amount of Widow Mines. That is a style that Polt sort of started using somewhere during Red Bull Battlegrounds North America, and definitely during MLG Anaheim, when he was just kind of finding his ways against Terran.
Yeah.
Against Zerg, after he had some issues of dealing with Scarlet.
Yeah. I gotta try that style more. I feel like the way, especially with the last patch, like Polt was doing this before the patch, and it actually worked out reasonably well.
Yep.
So
he got victories over players that he wasn't able to defeat before that.
Yeah, like I think putting like just leaning that heavily on Widow Mines, you just go over a certain tipping point, and it's impossible to just bait him out with a few lings. Like the Terran will always start to trade effectively versus you in those scenarios, and that's why I want to see a longer game, because I want to see how Polt does it. Of course, this guy in the bottom center position, he has something else to say about that. Evil geniuses. He's Jaedong. Lee Jaedong. He has a lot of fans watching today.
Jaedong is able to avoid 18 Widow Mines, Nate. I'm gonna lose it.
That would be pretty sick.
Yeah, I still remember that game that Polt played on MLG, where he just had this trail of Widow Mines all the way from his base to like this Zerg expand on the right top side of the map. It was actually disgusting. It was like breadcrumbs, but then Widow Mines are spread all over Frost.
Yeah, it's everywhere. And the Overgrowth map too, man. It's like was it against? Who was it against? Solar in the Battlegrounds Global Qualifier that he ended up kind of having that same scenario set up too.
Oh, on Overgrowth, the only real game that they played in the final.
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but that
Or
game
Impact. Yeah.
that game was also not super long. It was kind of long, but it wasn't that.
But yeah, he likes a lot of Widow Mines. That's all we're trying to say here, folks. Polt really likes Widow Mines against Zerg.
Polt has, of course, been a very busy bee over the last few months, competing in a lot of tournaments in Battlegrounds Atlanta, went to MLG, went to Battlegrounds North America, played an IEM qualifier yesterday.
And he managed to get a qualification, so he's going to be at Toronto.
Yep, he's going to be at Toronto. He's also going to be back in Southern California next week next week, at the end of this week.
He's going to be here this weekend.
Yeah.
He's going to come hang out with us again.
Yep, so Battlegrounds Global coming up in just a few days. Polt will be part of that tournament as well. So for all the Polt fans who've been wondering, like, Polt, all right, we see you so much now against all the North Americans and against the Koreans on foreign teams. I wonder how well my Polt does against the Caspa pros. Well, you guys will be able to witness it next weekend, or the upcoming weekend even, when Polt will be competing in the Battlegrounds Global here in Santa Monica. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a sick tournament.
Yep. Reaper for Polt. He's actually going to go for a multiple Reaper opening this game. Now, since Jaedong has opened with speed, the Reapers shouldn't be able to dance around too much. Not for too long. But I do wonder, I think this build kind of looks like Polt wants to go for, it's going to be triple Reaper, 3 command center.
Ah, okay. That's a little different as well than we had in the last game. No more Cloak Banshees. I guess he pretty much told himself, alright, well, in the last game my Banshees did so well that it's very, very unlikely that my Banshees will ever do better than they did on Overgrowth. So if I need it, I can always bust it out in game number 3. Of course, the winner of this series will advance to the round of 16.
He's going to wall off instead of getting his 3rd command center. He wants to start that bunker and that next depot first. Okay. Polt does this sometimes. Like, he has the money. He could have started 3rd command center earlier, but he just doesn't want to. These Reapers, though, are going crazy.
However, speed is about to finish up. Polt has to be careful. Don't want to take too much damage anymore, because even if the Reapers, Reapers are good against Lynx, but not when they have speed, especially not if the Reapers are injured already, because then they can't really jump back and forth anymore between cliffs. But obviously Polt will take care of it, looks at the clock, and he's like, alright, 6-minute mark, that's the majority of the time for me to go home.
The strangest things. Is he actually just going to go Banshee again out of this? His second gas is so late. I don't think he should be able to afford Cloak. But
he had the money for a command center.
Yeah, I guess he's. Well. Yeah, he had like 500-600 minerals, but he just wants to. I guess he wants to make sure that he doesn't run out. He doesn't have like too few money to get all the other things that he wants. It's going to be a Viking opening because he won't. I guess he won't have enough gas for Cloak. So with the double barracks, we're going to see him do that thing he does, where he gets like 1 Marauder, 1 Marine at a time out of the 2 barracks, and then maybe a little bit extra on just 1 or 2 Marines.
Going to open up with his Polt Viking.
Yeah.
Not too many Overlords out on the map. He might be able to get 2, but that's pretty standard. Of course, Jaedong wants to send his first Overlords across the map, wants to make sure that he doesn't get surprised by anything very funky or silly. He's going to fire up 16 Speedlings now, Nate. No Roach Warren yet on the map for Jaedong, which is a little bit tricky, because if Polt would decide to open up with a ridiculous amount of Hellions again, or ridiculous, at least 2 more than we normally see. He has 4 right now, there are 2 more on the way. If he goes up to 8 Hellions, it can be very difficult to deal with just Zerglings.
Yeah, East Queen's doing a good job, though, trying to push this back. And 1-1 upgrades are going to begin for Jaedong. So suddenly, we once again have another classic sacrifice that Polt makes in this matchup, where he just says, I'm going to get really late
Look at
upgrades.
all these Speedlings, Nate. He's going to try to counter. The depots are not low. There are 2 Hellions in the middle of the map, but Polt pays attention to it. And this is really good, because this could have been a small disaster for Polt. Units all out of position. Zerglings running into your main base. Now Jaedong actually has to worry. He does get the surround, though. Nice trick there by Jaedong. He's going to lose a few Zerglings in the end, but at least he got 2 Hellions for his effort.
Yeah, and that's not bad at all. Being able to pick off just a few of those Hellions. Definitely more expensive than a couple Zerglings. He's even going to get Overlord speed, because he realizes that he wants to be able to scout out a little bit more and not lose all of his Overlords to the Vikings. Hellions poking again, though. He's going to kill a few more Zerglings.
Jaedong already in such a better economic position than he ever was in the last game.
Yeah.
Right now, 57 drones against the 45 SCVs of Polt, and above all, the 2 command centers of Polt. Just now, the 3rd command center is going down.
Yeah, Polt's build orders have like this weird way of covering, his tracks as far as anything goes. Like, he gets always that Anchor Marauder, builds a couple extra Hellions, gets the Viking. But in this instance, now with these medevacs coming in, he needs to get some damage done because, like you said, he has very late third command center and his double engineering base. He's actually going to start his 1-1 around the same time that 2-2 begins for Jaedong.
The only thing I'm worried about now, Jaedong firing up 11 more drones, Nate. This means that he doesn't have too many units right now to fight. It's just 5 queens and 29 zerglings, no bailing nest. The zerglings will have 1-1 upgrade, so that makes it awesome, but there are widow mines in the mix as well. Jaedong perhaps squeezed out a few drones too many. This is going to be rather tricky.
Yeah.
The Overlord soaked up the shot.
Especially considering that as these Zerglings die, the damage that the Hellions and Reapers did on this hatchery earlier on is actually setting himself up to potentially just kill this. All these drones are trying to run, but the Hellions, they're all lined up. He's going to kill the Queen. He could have killed so many more drones. They're very scary position, and he's actually just going to kill the third base.
It's still really good for Polt. Even when he didn't kill all these drones, he's going to kill the third base. He killed the Queen. There are still 2 widow mines over here as well that are about to fire again. There are still a few Marines alive. The Overlords have done a really good job in actually picking up a couple of these shots from the widow mines, but job well done for Polt. Like, yeah, Polt was down in workers. Yes, Polt, his third command center was a little late, but he just made up for that, Nate. And he made up for it big time.
Yeah. This is a very tense moment right now for Jaedong. The only thing Jaedong still has in his favor are the upgrades. He's got 1-1. 1-1 just began for Polt, but when you have a huge Marine lead caused by an economic mess like that, does it even matter? The answer is no.
A couple of SUVs being transferred as well to that new base. As Polt is going to expand towards Jaedong. He's going to lift up his command center. Bailing speed is fired up now for Jaedong. Of course, if he would just had a couple of bailings, even just 3 or 4, would have probably already made the difference on creep.
Yeah, I agree.
And even if he just would have made 22 Zerglings instead of that final round of 11 drones, when he was already ahead by like 15 workers, there was really no need trying to go 25 workers ahead. Either way. I mean, Jaedong has still small chance. It's not as bad as it was on Overgrowth, that's for sure.
No.
It's still, not good.
It's still rough. It's not good. But it's not, you know, it's not at the end of the world.
And it all looks so simple so far. Like, it didn't really look like these are things that only Polt could do in this world.
No. Like this, he's going to drop these Marines on the high ground. Only these Mutalisks can fight these. Almost kills 1 or 2 of them. And this army for Jaedong, I don't know how much he wants to actually be out on the map, because off creep, those banelings are complete trash without the speed upgrade.
Yeah,
even
honestly,
with speed, they're kind of still bad.
This entire army of Jaedong doesn't really look all that intimidating. If Polt would control F2 right now and put everything together, he's going to be in a really good position regardless. There we do see factory number 2 and 3 go down. Most likely a few reactors will be added as well.
Oh yeah.
And then Polt can start his crazy widow mine production like we know that he likes to do. Don't be surprised if at a certain point in the game this 4 widow mine count over here on the left top side of the map turns into, well, 24 might be slightly exaggerated, but definitely 14.
There could be a lot of widow mines, let's just say that. Be raining some explosions. This Marine on the right side catches a few lings, and I knows, okay, to watch out for some potential side swipes. He actually brings his army over. We've seen many times where Zerg players get some big edges by just making a bunch of banelings, make 6 to 10, and just blast through that mineral line. Players like Violet love to do that a lot.
101 army supply, and I mean, obviously Polt has plenty of experience of dealing with Violet. Just yesterday we casted a pretty cool best of 5. Jaedong has to be careful with his Mutalisk over here. Ends up losing 1, 2, 3. Ooh. Not in a position to just lose 3 Mutants like that. Banelings are morphing a little close to this party as well. He does get a nice sort of surround, half surround with the Zerglings. Picks up a few bio units. But that's not even the real army of Polt. The real army is over here in the middle of the map.
Only Polt's just going to walk around with 2 whole armies and not be afraid to try to control both of them. The Banelings, though, they're moving in. I love this. Pulls the Marines behind. Lets the Marauders suck up the shots. Now the Mutalisks are still going to push him away from his base. These Marines are out. They're stranded. The Zerg forces are eventually going to come for these, but he's got another force on the bottom right side. He's pulling Jaedong every which way. All over the
place. And he's going to pick up these units as well. Actually saves pretty much all of them. He's going to fly to the main base instead. And where are you going to go with your Banelings, Jaedong? He has 25 of them. He would love to use them. He's going to unload these units in the main. Eventually the Mutas will be able to clean this up. And the Zerglings are helping out as well. At the same time, we have Zerglings counterattacking this base, but that turned into a massacre.
Oh, the Widow Mine shots killed all of them.
Welcome back, Commander. I mean, with those 2-2 upgrades on the way, Jaedong still on 1-1. He does have quite a few units to work with.
All the Banelings just blew up on Marauders, too, in that first wave. Polt's retreating, but now he's retreating to his
safety.
He's retreating to the minefield, man.
These Banelings not getting the connections that Jaedong would be truly hoping for either. Good splits by Polt. More Banelings streaming in, but Polt still has plenty of Marines to fall back on. He does still have a couple of Widow Mines as well. Here are the reinforcements, here are all the Widow Mines as well. And now it's time to disengage for Jaedong. And the next time they fight, Nate, oh, look at all these Banelings as well dying. Next time they fight, Polt is going to be on 2-2 upgrades. Oh, it's going to be very, very tricky for Jaedong to find a way back in this game.
Jaedong just started his 2-2 as well. Now Polt with an upgrade advantage. That's... Oh, man, that's a very scary spot to be in. I'm not even sure what to think now. Jaedong is in, I think almost could say he's dead. Like, he needs a miracle to bring this game back. He doesn't have any of the miracle things you need in this matchup, though, like
Burrow.
a Nidus or Burrow. This is just going from bad to ugly. Jaedong needs to actually get his Banelings on top of all the Marines in one clump.
Next fight we're going to have drilling claws as well. There are 13 Widow Mines now over here. A couple of them are in the middle of the map, a couple of them are streaming still across the map. The first Tors are on the way as well. That's kind of fun. A couple of Tors, why not? They can always do a good job in soaking up the Banelings. Jaedong would love to buy enough time for his 2-2 upgrades to finish up, but even if he would have 2-2 upgrades, Nate, is that really going to change everything? He's going to fly into the main base. He does have quite a few Mutalisks over here, and since Polt has been attacking so much, he hasn't been too worried about actually defending Mutalisks. So these Mutalisks are doing some serious work. They're cancelling 3-3. Now this could be a potential start of an epic Jaedong comeback.
Yeah, canceling the upgrades is definitely one way to get things rolling on the ball. But Polt still has a massive army moving out towards the left side. All these Widow Mines in the center of the map, you actually can't like fly across or rally across the center now.
We saw such a beautiful game of Polt not too long ago where he just kept having these Widow Mines and he kept killing the WCS as well.
Mutalisk's getting dangerously close. He's trying to run some links. It's like, see if you can get
It's
across.
hard to see Widow Mines actually on this terrain. Like you do see it of course, but...
No, this is just smart because he's baiting them out one at a time.
Yeah, but he has to like do that 15 times, and Polt will never give him time for that.
It costs a lot of your attention. Yeah.
It's gonna take you a solid minute to take care of a couple of Widow Mines, and I'm sure that Polt will know how to use that minute. However, somehow, some way, Jaedong has bought the time for his 2-2 to finish up, or at least pretty much finish up. He doesn't have a fort base, but you know, you can't have everything in life, I guess, when you're behind.
Just noticed Polt's got 3 engineering bays in his natural.
Yeah, I saw it on production tab. He just built them all 3.
He's like, man, I don't know how many these things are gonna die.
He turns it into a guessing game. Which engineering bay is spinning and not?
Just get building armor in one. You're never sure.
Ooh. I was like, what are these Marines shooting at? But I was still a happy Zergling working on the SVs. I was like, are the bunkers actually just shooting at the command center now? Did he somehow misfire? But that's not needed. 110 army supply against 137. The only good news for Jaedong is that there is a good chance that by the time that they fight with maxed out armies, they will be even on upgrades. As they are even on upgrades right now, there is still a lot of Widow Mines in the middle of the map, Nate.
Yeah, he's retreating through that minefield, but he's actually overwhelmed a lot of the
biome. He's doing a
biome.
really good job.
Coming from every single direction. The Widow Mine's not really getting the connections that they were honestly looking for, but Polt remains strong in supplies, continuing to kite back with these Marines.
More Banelings.
Spreading off creep, and that production tab, man, all Polt needs is a little bit more time. He needs to get some more units out, but Jaedong doesn't want to give him that time, and he's going to continue to push towards the 3rd base of Polt. Jaedong needs to basically kill Polt right here, right now. Jaedong has no 4th base.
Yeah, there are 20 Marines left, and I feel if all 20 Marines are together, that's just a little too much to handle. It's Mutalisks fighting Marines in a straight-up engagement. That's never what you want as a Zerg. Even though Jaedong is sort of winning this fight, here are the Widow Mines, and now more Marines are on the way as well. More Widow Mines are on the way. And like you said, Jaedong does not have a fort base. If it was ever going to happen, it had to happen right here and right now, but it's not. Polt is going to advance to the round of 16 after defeating Jaedong 2-0, and he gets his revenge for that defeat in the Lone Star Clash final roughly 2-3 months ago, where he lost 4-2 against Jaedong, and he looked strong today, Nate. He looked like he was just simply better than Jaedong.
Yeah, Polt just playing on another level. That's really all there is to it. Incredibly well, getting a lot of damage done with some attacks that maybe didn't seem like they made sense, but at the end of the day, they worked, so I'm not going to blame him.
I mean, the attack on game number 2, that's not even that out of the ordinary, right? Like, yeah, the 3rd command center was a little later, but...
It came a lot faster, I think, than your typical push on that setup because he got such an early 2nd barracks, but...
Yeah, he did get that 2nd barracks very quick, but still. In the end of the day, Jaedong just being a little too greedy. If those 11 drones, right when the attack is about to happen, or right before that, right when those units were moving out, If those 11 drones is something else, then I think Jaedong is going to be A-okay. Or if he had a Baning Nest a little bit quicker, just one of the two.
Yeah, I agree. So that means Polt's going to advance the round of 16 yet again in WCS America Premier League.
Insane, by the way. He has done that every single season. Since season 1 of 2013 America. He back then made it to the round of 8, I believe, in New York. Then season 2 he won it. Season 3 he won it. Earlier this year he made it to the round of 8 again in 2014 season 1. And of course last season he made it to the semifinals, correct? Lost against Jan, or was it the quarterfinal that
he lost against Jan in the quarterfinal.
Yeah. Either way, always top 8, always top 6. Only one time he dropped out in top 16. Other than that, he's either been winning it or made it to the quarterfinals. Extreme consistency. 6 seasons in a row. Polt makes it to the round of 16, to the offline part of WCS America. And Jaedong and other Jaedong fans, Nate, they're going to have to sweat it once more. Because once again, in 2014, it comes down to the rubber match for Jaedong in the round of 32. Will he be able to defeat Oz for the second time today and make it to the round of 16 for the first time this year? Or is Oz able to get his sweet revenge? We're going to find out in just a couple of minutes from now on. So keep your tweets coming, #WCS, and we'll be right back.